Welcome to English Stories for Listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you genuinely want to be fluent in English.
My name is Emma. When I was a child, I was very quiet. I liked to listen more than talk. People would often ask me, Emma, why are you so silent? I didn't know how to answer. Words felt stuck inside me, like they were hiding. Sometimes I wished I could speak like others, with confidence and ease. But I was afraid. What if they laughed at me? What if I said something wrong? One day my teacher, Mrs. Ava, gave me a book. She said, "Emma, this book will help you find your voice." I looked at the book and smiled a little. It was an English book with easy words. I opened it and started to read. At first it was hard. I struggled to understand. But I didn't give up. I read one page, then another, and another. I met a boy named James in my class. James was different. He always had something to say. He spoke with confidence, and everyone listened. I wanted to be like him, but I didn't know how. James saw me reading my English book and said, "Hey Emma, do you need help?" I nodded. He sat with me and explained the words slowly. It was like a light turned on in my mind. James said, "Emma, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are our best teachers." I took his words to heart. Every time I felt scared, I remembered what he said. I started to speak little by little, saying one word at a time. Hello, thank you, please, and then small sentences. It felt like I was learning to walk all over again. I remember the day I had to speak in front of the class. My hands were shaking. I could feel my heart beating fast. I looked at my friends, James, Ava, and Charlotte. They smiled at me. I knew they believed in me. I took a deep breath and started to speak. My voice was soft, but I did not stop. I kept going. When I finished, there was silence. Then my friends started to clap, and I felt something warm inside my heart. There were still days when I felt low, like I couldn't do it. On those days, I remembered a story my dad told me about a man named Robert. Robert was quiet like me, but he never gave up. He learned one word at a time, one sentence at a time, and became a great speaker. I wanted to be like Robert. I knew I could be. English helped me more than I ever thought. It was not just a language, it was my way to connect with people, to show them my heart. I learned new words every day. I wrote them in a small notebook and practiced speaking in front of the mirror. It was hard, but every time I felt like crying, I wiped my tears and kept going. One evening, my mum said to me, "Emma, I'm proud of you. Those words made me cry, but they were happy tears." My mum hugged me, and I knew all my hard work was worth it. I knew that I was not silent anymore. I had found my voice. Michael, my friend from school, once said, "Emma, words are powerful. they can change everything. He was right. With English, I was able to share my thoughts, my feelings, and my dreams. I was not afraid anymore. I learned that it is okay to make mistakes, to fall, and to get up again. It is part of the journey. Sometimes we all need a friend like James, a teacher like Mrs. Ava, or a story like Robert's to believe in ourselves. I want to tell everyone who is reading this, do not be afraid of your silence. Speak when you are ready, even if it is just a whisper. One day, that whisper will become a strong voice. Amelia, another friend of mine, was also struggling. She felt like she could never speak in English. I remembered how James helped me, so I said to her, "Amelia, you can do it, one word at a time." She looked at me with tears in her eyes, but also with hope. I knew she was going to find her voice too. Learning English was like opening a door to a new world. It was not just about grammar and rules, it was about feeling and understanding. It was about telling someone that you care, that you are happy, or that you are sad. It was about sharing stories, dreams, and laughter. My journey is still not over. I still make mistakes and I still get scared. But now I know that I am not alone. I have my friends, my family, and the power of words with me. Every day I learn something new, and I know you can too. Do not stop here. Keep going, keep learning, and keep speaking. Remember, your voice is important. It can bring a smile, a tear, or a change in someone's life. You are not just learning a language, you are learning to share your heart with the world. This is not the end of my story. It is just the beginning. And I want to hear your story too. How did you find your voice? What helped you the most? Share your journey, your thoughts, and your dreams. Together, we can make a beautiful symphony of words, a chorus of voices that were once silent but now speak with strength and love. One evening, I sat on the porch with my best friend, Olivia. She was quiet, lost in her thoughts. I knew that look because I had seen it on my own face many times. I asked Olivia, "What's wrong?" She looked up with a small smile, but her eyes were filled with tears. "Emma," she said softly, "I want to speak like you do now, but I'm so afraid." I reached for her hand and held it tightly. "Olivia," I said, "I was just like you. I was scared too. I thought I would never find my voice. But do you know what helped me? Taking one small step at a time. Just one word, then another, then a sentence." Olivia wiped her tears and asked, "But what if I make mistakes?" I squeezed her hand and said, "Mistakes are okay. They are like little bumps on the road. They slow us down for a moment, but they don't stop us from moving forward. Every mistake is a chance to learn and grow." I told her a story about my brother John. He was the bravest person I knew. John had once struggled with speaking too. He told me that words felt like they were heavy stones in his mouth, hard to lift. But John never gave up. He practiced even when it was hard, even when no one was listening. One day he stood up in front of his class and spoke. He was nervous, but he kept going, and when he finished, everyone clapped. John's face lit up with the biggest smile I had ever seen. "John taught me something important," I said to Olivia. "He taught me that courage doesn't mean we are not afraid. It means we try anyway, even when we are scared." Olivia nodded slowly, her eyes a little brighter now. "I want to try," she said. I smiled at her and said, "You will do great. Just remember, one word at a time." The next day at school, we were asked to say something in English in front of the class. I could see Olivia's hands shaking, just like mine had before. She looked at me, and I gave her a nod. She took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my name is Olivia." Her voice was quiet but clear. She paused, looked at us, and then kept going. "I like to read and play with my friends." When she finished, the class was silent for a moment. Then everyone started to clap. I saw a tear roll down Olivia's cheek, but this time it was a tear of joy. She had done it. She had found her voice. Later, she came to me and said, "Emma, thank you for believing in me." I hugged her tightly and said, "You did this, Olivia. You found your courage, and you spoke from your heart." Learning English changed everything for me and my friends. It was like we had discovered a key that opened the door to so many new things. We could talk to new people, understand their stories, and share our own. It was no longer just words, it was a way to show who we really were. My friend David once told me, "Emma, English is not just about speaking perfectly, it's about speaking honestly, from your soul." His words stayed with me because they were true. I learned that it's okay to speak slowly, to think before you say something. What matters most is that you try, that you share what's in your heart. There were times when I felt like I couldn't do it. When I looked in the mirror and thought, "I'm not strong enough," but then I remembered all the people who believed in me: James, Mrs. Ava, my mom, John, and now Olivia. They all faced their fears, they all had their struggles, but they never gave up. One evening I met a little girl named Mia. She was crying because she felt like she would never learn English. She said, "I am not smart like the other kids." I knelt down and looked into her eyes. "Mia," I said, "being smart is not about knowing everything. It's about not giving up, even when things are hard." I gave her a little notebook, the same kind I used when I was learning. "Write one word a day," I told her, "and one day you will look back and see how far you have come." Learning a language is like planting a seed. You water it, give it sunlight, and wait. Slowly it grows. It's the same with words. You learn them one by one, and one day they grow into a beautiful story, your story. I remember the day I spoke in front of the whole school. I thought about all the times I was afraid, all the times I wanted to run away. But then I thought about Olivia, John, James, Mia, and all the people who believed in me. I took a deep breath and started to speak. My voice was steady, my words clear. When I finished, I felt like I was standing on top of a mountain. Someone asked me, Emma, how did you do it? How did you go from silent to speaking? I smiled and said, I took one step at a time. I believed in myself, even when it was hard, and I never stopped trying. The journey is not always easy. There are days when you will feel like you can't do it, but those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days when you must take a deep breath, remember why you started, and keep going. I know this is not the end of my story. There are still so many words to learn, so many people to meet, and so many stories to tell. And I want to hear your story too. What words helped you the most? What made you believe in yourself? Let's keep learning together. Let's keep speaking from our hearts. And remember, every voice matters. Even if it starts as a whisper, it can grow into something beautiful, something strong. If you're still with me, let's continue this journey. Tell me your story, your struggles, your dreams. Let's make this a story that never ends.